Joining me now is Yurik Lozano, the Director of Marketing for Empire Medical Training. Hey, buddy, how you doing?
Hi, it's a pleasure to be here.
It's good to see you, my friend.
Yeah, same.
I know that you got a ton to do as the Director of Marketing. What are some of the most important items on the list?
God, that can go on and on and on about marketing. I mean, I have an MBA, and so for me, I've been in the industry for so many years, over 15 years. So, with Empire Medical Training, it really is high level bringing user acquisition, of course. But more than that, with marketing, it's about making sure that the users, or in this case, our attendees and students, really get the best experience and get the value at the end of the day. And that can be anything, that can be ensuring that they get out of here prepared to go out into the world and really practice these lucrative procedures or more.
Yeah, and so when you're at these events, like you've been with me all weekend, and you're walking through and you're looking, what are you looking for along those lines? I see you kind of taking the temperature of the rooms. What are you looking for?
Sure. So in this case specifically, we want to tell the right story. Oftentimes with marketing, sometimes we focus so much on the product itself without letting the customers really know why it's important to them. And so in this case, obviously, Empire Medical Training is within the continuing medical education landscape. And so for us, are we really conveying that message across? Are we really telling that company's story? And you being here is so wonderful because, you are reporting on this event. And so it's really getting that experience from another perspective. We can speak about marketing, and the company oftentimes can talk about the brand as many times as we want, but it's so great to get someone else so refreshing that comes in and tells that story in their way. We don't want to manipulate the audience. We don't want to convey a certain message or really guide that story. We want someone else to impartially come in and really speak to their experience.
And to your point, you probably also get that by way of user testimonials. And I'm sure you get attendees who become members who say specific things to you about how it's helped enrich their lives and their professions. So give me a couple of those stories, feedback that you've heard.
Yeah, absolutely. So with Empire Medical Training, we obviously touch a lot of lives. I think that's so wonderful. Maybe you're burned out, and obviously these people have, sometimes they're, a nurse or a physician or a dentist, and they live very difficult lives. Sometimes they're working late night shifts, saving people's lives. And so with Empire, we're trying to show them that they're not replacing their career altogether. They're really coming in and learning something new that maybe they can do on the sidelines. Maybe they're a nurse that wants to work for a medical director to open that career opportunity for them. But more importantly, the stories I've heard is how Empire really opens the door. That's really what matters. Maybe they're overworked, and especially during COVID, we know that was a house, if you can remember what that was like. But a lot of them were overworked and understaffed, and so a lot of physicians, dentists, nurses, all healthcare professionals really are trying to find an out. And so what we're hearing in testimonials is how this is opening up so many opportunities for them, and we're grateful and we love that we're doing that.
And I know that you are particularly passionate about the business training and the marketing training that these folks are getting.
Yeah, absolutely. So with business, it's often the stereotype that, obviously doctors know so much about healthcare. They know how to save people's lives. They know how to do IV drips and so many other things. But in terms of business and marketing, that is a completely separate degree, right? And so oftentimes what we're finding, I teach the Business Blueprint for Success in aesthetics course with Dr. Crowley and other amazing experts in the field, bringing different perspectives. But what we've oftentimes hear is, where do I even get started in business? And they're oftentimes scared as well. And more importantly, it's a bit expensive. We know that, hiring a top agency can be very, very expensive. So what the goal of that course specifically, and really Empire Medical Training's curriculum, is guiding them to understand which questions and which metrics to look for. So when they're trying to hire an agency, they're very informed and make the right decision. We do not want them to make mistakes. We want them to go out, hit the ground running, as they say, start getting patients, start getting those qualified leads, start making that money. And of course, it's always about enhanced patient care. We know that, and that's everything. That's the reason we're doing this. But they need a little support, and that's what that class is about.
Yeah, and the education does not end when this is over late Sunday afternoon. It goes on and on for years with a lot of these people.
So one of the things I love about Empire as a whole is it's not like one of those classes where you just go to and you learn Botox and then all hands off deck. You never talk to those people again. That's not the experience here. I mean, we really are about that community. We want to ensure that we're holding their hand through the entire journey. In fact, we even build a pathway, and we have so many pathways, whether that be in aesthetics, anti-aging, pain management, functional medicine, or regenerative medicine. We have so many different pathways to really guide them, to show them this is the path for you. And what's great is that every path is customizable. So, as the healthcare professional interested in these procedures, they'll have an education advisor. They'll speak with those folks, and they'll create a path that's right for them.
And with regards to that, I'd love to get your take on the future of marketing as it relates specifically to AI.
Oh my goodness. Actually, there's so many things that are happening with in terms of marketing and all these new technological advancements. I mean, we do a SWOT analysis all the time, and when we look at threats, AI is often one. People talk about potentially losing their jobs, which is not so great. But what we're finding is that's not the case at all. We're finding that AI has actually really integrated very well with society, and people are actually using it more so now to help them get work done faster. I mean, if you can imagine just blog writing in general, something that they use in search engine optimization, which take the Blueprint course, I mean, you'll know exactly what that is. But essentially, if you want to rank first in Google, you want to sometimes write blog content, if that's a part of your strategy. And so with AI, back then you would have to hire somebody, write a blog. It might take one entire week to write one or two articles. And now you can really bang out anywhere from 5, 10, 20 articles in a day. So what we're finding is that companies are scaling much faster. And what's so wonderful about an aesthetic provider is if you're a practice owner or thinking about doing that, not only can you scale faster, but it costs a lot less. So you're not having to hire an agency or an SEO company. You can really just plug and play, create the prompt, write a blog, patient focused, and then you get boatloads of content very quickly.
Okay, I love it. And I want to stay with this. And I want to ask you, while we have you, give me one other tip that people will get in your Blueprint class. Don't tell me everything, but give me one other thing that's like super helpful.
Yeah. Well, I think, if you're starting a practice, obviously you have many questions, not only from the management side, but also the marketing and advertising side. So with a business course, the first part of it really is about practice management, front office fundamentals. How do you greet people through the door? How do you upsell them on certain products? But marketing, for me, it's very important that you understand the big picture. What is direct advertising? What is advertising in general, which is usually just casting a wide net? What tools and resources are available on the market? So I think when you get out of the class, and even pricing strategies, which I love so much, the idea is to give everybody the tools and the resources to ask the right questions. So when they get out into the world, they're not lost.
Yeah, pricing strategies. I didn't even think about that.
So many.
Yeah.
I mean, you can even go as much as talking about memberships and different tiers, upselling, whether you should even hire a virtual assistant or not. We talk about cutting costs. And what we're finding is in other countries, you can get a perfect individual that speaks perfect English from India or anywhere all over the country that can take those costs for you, transfer them to the customer service representative. There's even a lot of AI that can take those for you. There's certain software, and I don't want to mention any, but there are some companies where you can have an AI conversation through a phone. So just imagine how much money you're saving by not having to hire that front office person to really take these calls. So it is much easier now to get into aesthetics and way more affordable.
And I know just from speaking with you that you're super excited about the future for Empire Medical Training. What excites you the most?
Oh, goodness. Well, first, apart from Empire Medical Training's expansion, we've been around for so many years. It's always exciting to see how we pivot as an industry. Just as an example, during COVID, things weren't so hot. Let's be honest about that, for many organizations, and many organizations did shut down. Very quickly, Empire Medical Training pivoted and we started offering live stream courses to our attendees, and we're still here. And so that kind of shows our testament to going with the times. And with that, we actually created Empire On Demand, which is an online platform that targets the rest of the world. So now Empire Medical Training isn't just here in the United States. It really is making medical education accessible all over the place.
And give me a specific tool that you're particularly excited about that's going to help the student base.
Oh my goodness. All right, so nobody knows this yet. So this is the first time I'm going to be mentioning it, but we are creating an Empire Direct system, or at least that's what it's called, Empire Direct. And what that is a physician finder. What we oftentimes hear in the Blueprint courses, it's really hard getting leads. And with this platform, what we're going to create is a system that allows all healthcare professionals to create their company profile, user profile, much like LinkedIn, and offer many students across the world different offers, services, in hopes of getting the patient through the door.
And so that's another example of where you take something that seems like it could be super intimidating.
Yes.
And you just go, we got you.
We got you.
You just do the medicine stuff. We're going to equip you with all the other tools and tricks.
And it happens. And what's so exciting about it is they really get to build a user base. I mean, the system is so intuitive that it really works with search engine optimization. And so at that point, people are going to be searching for practices near me. They're going to be searching for certain procedures near them, like Botox, dermal filler, sclerotherapy, whatever that might be. And this platform is going to have a directory of many, many physicians. Empire members specifically will get this as an extra benefit. So, normally this is a paid service, but for Empire members, we're very happy to announce that it is a free service. Like I said, they'll get to create their profile and leads will just come in. So instead of having to, which is very difficult, so instead of having to pay Meta, Instagram, Facebook, PPC, Google, all these platforms, the PR firms, they get free SEO, free leads, and there's nothing better than that.
Yeah, and so membership is just filled with added value. Since I walked in the door yesterday, it's just like, oh, they also get this. Oh, there's also this. Oh, there's also this.
Yeah, I think the biggest benefit with Empire Medical Training is just the depth and breadth of courses that we offer. What we oftentimes find, or what we're seeing, is many other organizations that offer training really do teach one or two or even sometimes three things, but it's not a full comprehensive curriculum. And Empire Medical Training is the only organization, not only here in the United States, but abroad, that offers a membership package to get CME credits. So, and we all know CME is very important for healthcare professionals to renew their license at the end of the year, and it ranges per state. Sometimes it's anywhere from 20 to 50 credits, and they're very expensive. But the great thing is that Empire Medical Training is accredited, and we offer courses, and we offer up to 120 CME courses for the entire year. So Empire really is a one-stop shop, not only for the core and the course aspect and the CME aspect, but the community, the portal, the access to resources, and so much more.
And you also, it's very important to you to get feedback from members and implement that, not just say, oh, great, thanks for the note. You say, okay, got it, understood, here's what we're going to do.
You know what, that's so funny. It actually happened recently. A few months ago, we went to New York City, and we wanted to understand what our students were feeling and how we can help support them. And so feedback is very important to us, and we read every single review, every single feedback document that we get them to fill out. And so for us, one thing that did come out of it was the Empire Live Mentor program. We were hearing that sometimes they were feeling a bit lost when they were getting out of the class. And so they just wanted the ability to speak to a physician. And so we created the Empire Live Mentor to really give them that.
Well, it's been great chatting with you, buddy. Thanks so much for taking a minute. I know you're busy, so appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Of course.